Welcome to Pilates today. I'm glad you could join me. My name's Vera. I'm a health and wellness instructor from Stonebridge Community Services, and we're here at the Port Stanley Fitness Center with a really great workout for beginners for backs and back care. So if you have a cranky back, I'm glad you're here, and if you don't, we'll stop you from having one. So let's start by lying down. If you do need a pillow or feel more comfortable with a pillow underneath your head, by all means, get yourself a pillow. And we're going to start by lying down on our back. And let's start by just working on our posture, because posture is a really important part of back care. So we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a double chin, and then just imagine that somebody's pushing on your nose and just pushing into that pillow or into that mat, and relax. So again, if you have forward head posture, the head comes forward a bit. We're seeing it a lot more in younger people now that there's phones, so be careful of that. Really important to do this exercise. So a little double chin, just going to push down and relax. So that little bit of energy pushing down. And now let's add on to that. We're going to bring our hands behind your head, unless that hurts. If that's uncomfortable, just find a happy place wherever you want to be. But if you're okay here, a little bit of a double chin, we're going to gently push your head into your hands. It's a low grade press, looking down at your knees. And then just push your elbows into the mat. And when you do that, try to keep your ribs nice and heavy. So notice whether your back changes or you want to arch. Try to stay nice and still through your back. And relax. Again, if that's stressful at all, make sure there's a pillow behind your head. Little double chin, little gentle push with your head into your hands, elbows nice and wide, and relax. Let's do that a couple more times. That double chin, elbows into the mat, big breath in to prepare. Gently push your head down. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, relax. And one more time, little double chin, looking down at the knees. Gently push the head into the hands, elbows nice and wide, and relax. Good job. And then from here, we're going to let the elbows slide right down to the side. We're making a letter W with our elbows. And then see if you can push your hands and forearms into the floor. Notice whether your back changes at all. If you find your back arching, try to stay heavy through the ribs and relax. Bring the elbows maybe down a teeny bit more, and then gently push the back of your forearms and hands into the mat. And then relax. Let's do that 2 more times, gently pressing your hands into the mat. And relax. One more time, that little press. And relax. And now we're going to let the arms come overhead. And we're trying to press the hands and elbows into the floor as we come down. But we don't want any pain or discomfort. So just find that place that you can gently let your arms come up and down without any pain. So if your hands need to be a little higher to let that happen, feel free to let those elbows lift away from the floor. But long-term goal, just to work that posture, is to be able to press the elbows and slide as we come down and up. And now let's turn our little baby fingers up towards the ceiling. Keep the bottom ribs heavy as you reach one arm overhead and then the other. So just imagine there's something just a little bit out of reach, and lengthen through one side and then the other. So just lengthening those long muscles of the back that can sometimes get a little bit tight and inhibit that overhead arm movement. And now let's both hands reach, and then try to push your thumbs down towards the mat. And again, if that hurts, find a happy place. It doesn't have to be way overhead. So find a place that's okay for your shoulders, and then gently press down into the mat. Well done. And now some snow angels. So hands are nice and flat, palms to the ceiling. Just coming down and up. Perfect. And down and up. And let's go 2 more. then from here, flip the palms down so that they're facing the floor. Let's let your hands just walk down towards your feet. We're going to walk the feet up towards our hands. Nice wide feet. You should almost be able to touch those ankles on the outside. And then widen out through your shoulders and try to press down into the mat. And now just again that little double chin and nice little bit of lengthening through the back of the neck. We're going to squeeze the glutes because that's really important to protect our back. Glutes are funny muscles. They're used for explosive movements like jumping and running, sprinting, those high energy movements. But a lot of times if we do have back injuries, we're not running and jumping anymore. So all we're trying to do is reconnect the glutes because they're huge muscles and they help protect our back. So let's really squeeze the glutes. A little poke test. We want to make sure that our abs are awake and that they're working to protect our back. And then we're pressing into the heel, but also all 5 toes, just to help protect that back. And then we're going to lift the glutes up towards the ceiling. So lifting the hips up. And while we're here, we're just going to hold it here, squeezing the glutes. We're really working on those muscles around the back. And holding it there for 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and down. How did that feel? If you found that you're getting any sort of cramping in the back of your legs, press into your toes a little bit harder because if you push into the heels, it's going to go right up your hamstrings. So press down into the toes, squeeze the glutes, cinch the waist, and lift the hips. And now while you're up here squeezing the glutes and breathing, try to stay equal on both shoulders. So notice whether you're a little heavier on one side or the other. And if you find that you are, just try to level yourself out so you're as even as you can be. And let's hold it there, a little energy in your toes, squeezing the glutes. 4, and 3, almost there, just 2 more, and down. Okay, bridging's really important for back care. So if you do have back pain, again, remember, squeeze your glutes as often as you can during the day, even if you're sitting in the chair, just to wake those muscles up because they wrap around your low back and really protect the back. So squeeze glutes, little energy in your toes, let the hips float up. Again, little Pillsbury test, little tightness through the waist. Hold it there and breathe. Nice and even on your shoulders. Let's slide your hands down a little bit more towards your feet. Get all that tension out of your shoulders. And hold it there for 4, and 3, and 2, and down. 2 more times. This one's important. Squeeze, lift. Again, energy in your toes. Hold it there. Breathe. Remember, if you hold your breath, it's going to raise your blood pressure. So make sure deep exhales as you hold it there for 4, and 3, and 2, and down. Just one more. Squeeze glutes. Energy in the toes. Cinch the waist. Up we go. 4, and 3, and 2, and down. Well done. Okay, from here we're going to let one knee come up to the chest. Let's give it a little squeeze behind the knee. We've just been working the hamstrings, so we might want to release those guys a little bit. You might have had them cramping up, so let's just push into the heel and lengthen that leg out. It's not going to be perfectly straight, and that's okay. That's a different stretch. If I were to straighten my leg and pull it up, I would be getting more the glute side of the hamstring. If I tuck it in and try to straighten it, I'm getting more the knee side of the hamstring. And that's where we usually tend to be a little bit tighter. We don't pay as much attention to that part. So just trying to hug that knee in, big breath in. Remember though, if you do have hip replacement, we don't want that leg ever to go past 90, or we don't want to cross them. So just straightening those legs out. Breathe. Notice where you're holding tension. Check your shoulders, your neck, your low back. Just see where that tension's held. deep inhalations and exhalations. Imagine blowing out, you're blowing out some candles. We want to blow out, empty out those lungs, because when you do, you'll feel your belly tighten up. Well done. Okay, let's just switch over to that other leg. I'm going to draw it in towards the chest, pull the toes back towards the nose, straighten that leg out as far as it will go, and with every exhale, we just try to straighten it a wee bit more. So nice deep breathing. Relax your neck and shoulders. Try to find where that tension is and draw the breath right down into it. Deep, deep, deep breaths. Good job. In through the nose. Drawing the breath right into the back of your ribs. And then exhale and blow out. Perfect. Nice deep breaths. Well done. Hopefully we've loosened the hamstrings a little bit, because now we're going to just draw that knee in towards the chest, and I'm going to put both hands up and just press into that knee. And hold it there. Try to relax the neck as you press down. So we're pressing down, but we're also pulling up with the knee, so creating a little opposition, waking those hip flexors up. Hold it there for 4 and 3 and 2 and relax. And now from here, we're just going to think of it, draw that knee in towards your nose until you really feel your bottom ribs flatten out onto the mat. And now let's point the toe, and we're going to start to lower that leg down towards the mat. If there's a point where you feel like you can't keep your bottom ribs on the floor, that's where you stop. So it's not about touching the floor. It's about seeing where we can go with that nice, straight, and stable spine. Because the last thing we want to do is put stress on our back if we're feeling back pain. So you might be able to touch the floor, you may not. This may be easy for some people, and if it is, just take that leg out a little bit further away from your bottom, and then it'll be a little bit more challenging. You decide where to work with that. So just lowering down and up. And only if you want to make that a little bit more challenging, then we'll take that other hand across. So if it's your right leg, it's your left hand, we're crossing. And then as we lower that leg down, we're going to raise that arm overhead. Again, focus here is keeping the bottom rib on the mat. And up. Good job. And again, if that leg goes further away, it's going to be more challenging. But now we're having to stabilize in both directions. This is called the dead bug. When the leg goes down, we're stabilizing that low back. And when the arm comes up, we're stabilizing a little bit more through the rib cage. So whichever one works for you. If the first one's hard, just moving the leg, don't add the arms yet. Wait till you get a little stronger. But if you feel okay and comfortable with this, feel free to add the arms. Perfect, good job. And okay, we've got another side to go. So we're going to start by drawing that knee in towards the chest. Bring the hand up, push into the knee, and then draw the knee in towards your nose. Try to relax your neck and shoulders. Just going to hold it there, breathing, nice deep breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to let the arms come down, let the knee come in a little further until you feel those bottom ribs flatten right out. And then when you get to that point, point the toe and start to lower that foot towards the ground. Remember, it's not about touching the floor, it's about wherever you can go without your back changing. And if it's easy, you take the foot a little further away from your bottom. We want to find what we call the stabilization threshold. That's the point where it's hard to keep the ribs down, but you can still keep them there. That back's not arching and we're not creating any stress on that low back. And only if that's okay, take the hand across, and as the leg lowers down towards the floor, we're going to lift the arm overhead and in. A big breath in to prepare. Exhale. Breathe out and up. and in. Let's go 3 more. Rib cage stays heavy. Just 2 more. And very last one. Perfect. And now when you're ready, with control, lower that leg down. And then when you're ready, we're going to roll over so that you're facing me. If it's not comfortable to put your hand under your ear like this, if it hurts to have that arm overhead, feel free to get yourself a pillow and keep your arm down to the side where you're a little more comfortable. And now from here, we're going to start with our legs stretched right out. And, sorry, just want to get in the screen. And then think about kind of pushing that top hip out. And when you do that, you might see a little gap come up under my waist. And that's what we're looking for. When we lay on our side, we never want to just succumb to gravity. Everything here is tight and engaged. And now think about a $100 bill between your inner thighs and knees and heels and heels and toes. And we're just going to engage those inner thighs and lift both legs up so we're working the muscles between the ribs and the hips on our side. Hold it there, relax your neck. 4 and 3 and 2 and down. Big breath in, inner thighs are pressing together, holding that $100 bill as we lift and lengthen. Holding it there, working those muscles between the ribs and the hips on the side for 4 and 3 and 2 and down. Let's do that 3 more times. Inner thighs are engaged, heels, balls of the feet together as we lift and hold, relaxing the neck. 4 and 3 and 2 and down. 2 more times, squeeze, lift, and hold. Think about lengthening as you're here. 4 and 3 and 2. You're almost there. And down. Well done. 1 more time. Squeeze, lift, and hold. Really important muscles. This is where we carry our shopping bags. If we're holding anything in one hand, we need those muscles to be stronger. We're putting a lot of stress on our back. And we usually tend to be a little bit weak here. And down. You did it. Good job. Let's bend the knees in. Imagine there's a wall behind you. Your head, your bottom, and your feet are all against that invisible wall. We're working glute medius, which is a deeper glute muscle, really important for back care. Want to imagine there's headlights on your hips as you open the knees up so the hips stay facing forward, belly button stays facing forward. Often when we lose range of motion in the hips, we want to try to assist that movement by rolling. So don't let that happen. Make it be all about your hips and glutes and keep that upper body really still. And open and release. Relax the neck as you open. See how far you can go without rolling. And down. 2 more. And down. And very last one. And release. Perfect. Okay, from here we're going to roll over onto our belly. And I'm just going to do an exercise that might be helpful for somebody with disc-related problems. So let's start by just propping ourselves up on our elbows. And so if you have disc-related problems, the back's like 2 fists with a jelly donut in between it. So when we're bending forward using our spine as a hinge, that jelly from the jelly donut can push back. And that's what happened with our disc in between our vertebrae. The nucleus of that disc just kind of pops out and it puts a little pressure on our central nervous system. It can cause that radiating pain down your leg. So sometimes with disc-related problems, this type of movement, or if you're comfortable even going a little higher, can be really helpful to alleviate that back pain. Something to try out. If it doesn't feel good for you, don't do it. For some people, it might be really helpful and make you feel really good, especially if you're out for a long time bent forward doing some gardening and you find that your back's a little cranky the next day. Perfect. Okay, from here let's come right up onto our hands and knees. And we're going to make a little box with our body. So our hands are directly under our shoulders. Our knees are directly under our hips, or as close as we can get. Fingers are nice and wide, pressing into the fingers. As if you push into the kind of heel of your hand, it's going to go right up your wrist. And now just want to cinch that waist again. Imagine somebody's going to give you a big push, and then you know your abs are working. Tuck your toes in. And now let's reach one leg out. And now we're just going to think about pushing the toes away as you engage the glutes and lift that leg. And now from here, we're going to unweight the opposite hand. And so for some people, just trying to lift that hand, you don't have to lift it all the way up. Just see how that feels. That might be your exercise. If you feel like you can do more and you can reach that arm out in front, so the bird dog, that's also an option. So whatever works for you. If you are with that arm extended, foot extended, try to reach that hand as far away from your toes as you can. Create length and hold it there for 4 and 3 and 2 and down. Perfect. Let's let our knees go a little wider. We're just going to release the hips before we do the other side. A little rocking motion. Sometimes that can really help alleviate some stress in the low back. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm just going to come down to the extending the foot of the screen. Toes are tucked. Somebody just mentioned somebody's going to give you that big push. You're strong here. The opposite leg reaches out. And then when you're ready, you're going to let that leg just push away and float up. And now, if you can, let that opposite hand just come up and down. So if it's your right leg up, it's your left hand you're trying to lift. If you try to do the same side, it's really hard. And only if that's okay, let your hand just reach away from your toes. Make yourself as long as you can. Hold it there for 4 and 3 and 2 and down. Well done. We're going to let our head come over to the other side of the mat. We want to make sure you're nice and even. So that double leg lift on the other side. Legs are glued together, inner thighs, balls of the feet together, and we're using those muscles between the ribs and the hips to lift the legs up, holding it there for 4. Relax the neck, 3. Try to press those heels and balls of the feet together, just 2 to go, and down. Okay, let's do that again. Ready? Think about lengthening your toes as far away from the top of your head as they can be as we lift and hold. Hold it there for 4 and 3 and 2 and down. We're going to do that a few more times. Inner thighs are engaged. Hold that $100 bill right between your inner thighs as you lift and hold. 4. Relax. Smile. We're having fun here. 3 and 2 and down you go. Let's do that again. Squeeze, lift, lengthen, and hold. 4 and 3 and 2 and down. Perfect. And now the clams. So let the knees just tuck in. And just thinking about the glutes, so the movement's coming from the back as we open the knees. Trying to keep the hips facing forward. And 2 and release. And 3 and release. We've got 3 more, and 2 more, and very last one. Well done. When you're ready, let's roll onto our backs. And from here, I'm just going to finish with some knee sways. Sometimes they can be really nice to help release that low back. So arms are out to the side. Make your hands go as far away from each other as they can. And let's let the knees just fall to the right. And as you do, just look over your left fingers. Big breath in as you let the knees just lift up and over to the other side. And the head can turn away and look over the other hand. 2 more times. Big breath in. Up and over, releasing that low back. And then one more time, up and over. Perfect, back to the center. And then we're just gonna grab the hold of that leg, let it pull you up to seated. Or sit however you're comfortable. I'm glad you could join me today. I hope you enjoyed the program. I hope it makes all your backs feel better. Next week, we're going to be working on hips and knees. If you do have a small ball or a cushion, feel free to bring it to your next class. It might just help engage a few more muscles. If not, don't worry about it. I really appreciate you being here. Let's finish off with a final stretch. So let's reach up nice and tall. Push the hands away, up, 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 up. See how far you can reach. Nice big yawn. And then let your hands come all the way down behind. And from here, we're just going to roll the shoulders back, pull onto that one wrist. So if you do have your right wrist, give yourself a double chin and let your ear come over to the left. Just want to release all the tension out of your neck and shoulders before you leave me. And then let's hold on to that left wrist. Keep looking at the floor if you can so we don't put any stress on those neck extensors. And up and over to the right. And back to the center. Final big breath. Reach for the sky. And then when you're ready, come on down and take a